thanks to supporters of channel member Nathan Rowley. Well, with a slight assist from my wonderful Tycoon chairman, who I've never doubted for a moment, Brackley Town play their first ever games in the Football League. But we've got to do it without Owen Farmer because he's out until Christmas. Hello and welcome to part 32 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin, coming up on today's episode with our first ever games in League Two. We're at home against Mansfield and then away against Morecambe. We've got Cardiff in the League Cup. We don't need to see that. No one cares about the League Cup. Well, I guess it is the first time we're ever playing in it, and Cardiff's quite a big game, but we still don't care about the League Cup. We'll show you two league games because league games are what is important. If you missed the transfers yesterday, we did quite a few. You should go back and watch it. I mean, what? I'm not going to go through the whole lot again. I made a whole video about it. The media think we're going to finish 9th. We don't have anyone in the Dream 11, though, which is very sad. And I don't think we're going to race to a back-to-back-to-back promotion. But maybe we could have an outside push at the playoffs. Wouldn't that be a lovely, lovely thing? This is the team for the first time ever in the Football League. And there is Owen Farmer, out injured for 3 to 4 months with torn knee ligaments. It's very sad. But we've got Hollingshead in goal, a back four of Thomas, new boys Donnelly and Scar at centre-back with new right-back Deed, and then Rodney and East together in midfield, although Ryan East is someone I'm actively trying to push out of the club because we're way over our wage budget, so he might not be here much longer, but for now he can start, and we'll see how he gets on first few games. He is 29 though, which is basically retirement age. We've got Agbenone on the left, Alpha Ruprecht on the right, Ionvian as our pressing forward, and then new boy Aidan Marsh up front with him. This isn't Louis Marsh, who was here before. We sold him for £250,000. It's been a strange summer. One Marsh in, one Marsh out. I think I'd have probably rather kept this one, but we've got a different one. And maybe Aidan Marsh will be even better. I wonder if they're brothers. If he doesn't work out, we've also got Jacob Wakeling on the bench, who is a former strike partner of Ionvian for Peterborough Reserves. So that's exciting. 7 subs is also exciting. Oh, it's good to be in the Football League. What a time to be alive. It's going to be a big test to see how this system gets on. Obviously, we got through last year by having a much better attack than anyone else in the league and just overpowering teams with our front four. I don't think this front four, although it's basically the same one, although Marsh is probably a downgrade on Farmer, I don't think these guys are going to dominate League Two the way they dominated the National League. So we are going to need a little bit more about us than just trying to constantly outscore the opposition this time around. So we might have to tweak the tactic. We've got a few additional midfield players that will allow us to do that potentially. But I mean, if we start ramming the goals in straight away, then who am I to argue? Let's outscore people again. Deed on the right-hand side, and he's scored on his debut. And I mean, if we've got a right back who's going to do things like that, I'm going to be happy. You know I love a goal-scoring right-back. We weren't able to bring McWilliams in over the summer. Yet again, he signed a new contract with Chesterfield right at the last minute before he became available on a free transfer, and they still won't loan him to us. But maybe we don't need him. We've got a new boy wearing the number 2 shirt, and he's just scored Brackley's first ever goal in the Football League. I wouldn't have expected it to come from a right-back who only signed for us a week ago, but I mean, a goal's a goal and a win's a win. We'll take whatever we can get. We wanna put on the best show we can this season, and if we can get ourselves into a title race, all the better. And we've gone 2-0 up, and Caden Rodney's doing a chicken dance. I didn't have that on my bingo card either. He also has taken a big pay rise this summer. I didn't mention it in the transfer video, but he had a promotion pay rise, so he's now earning over $5,000 a week to play for us. We did, in fact, he's not. He went up to I think 5,250 with his pay rise. We managed to convince him down to 4,800 with a 1-year extension. So he's still earning over $1,000 a week more than he was earning last year, and he's going to be here for at least 3 years unless somebody buys him off of us. But he's only 23. He's been a key player for us last year, and it looks like he's slotted into League Two rather nicely as well. He was one of a number of players we had last year who was a League Two quality player. The likes of Alpha Ruprecht, Ionvian, Farmer, Agbenone. We had Hollingshead. We've got a lot of players who I think were probably good enough to play League Two last year, and because of that, I'm not overly concerned about giving those boys longer contracts, even though they signed for us a little bit lower down the pyramid. That was pretty poor from us. They've cut through us very easily. I mean, Dan Scarr did only sign for us yesterday, and Donnelly is making his debut as well. So it is a new combination together at centre back. It's going to take them a little bit of time to settle into playing with each other, but they didn't look very good there, did they? Agbenone throws it towards Ionvian, but he can't take control of the ball, and there's a 1v1 in the offing here, and they've got him behind us again. Thomas tries to get across, can't get there, and defensive frailty. This is what I mean. It doesn't really matter how good our attack is if this defence is not up to this division, and I have my doubts as to whether it is, because it's made up of last-minute panic buys. I mean, it's not that I was ignoring it. I tried to sign so many defenders over the course of the summer, and they just all refused to sign to me. They were all going elsewhere, so we'll see. This is why I'm talking about potentially changing the tactic. As much as I like scoring the amount of goals that we score, we might need an extra body in midfield this year. We shall see. We've got some tactical flexibility. We've got a slightly bigger squad this year, so we can shuffle around to a 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1. We've got options, and we do have another defender who signed for us this morning who isn't close to match fit, so he's not in today. I mean, to be fair, Scar's not match fit either, and needs must. Benone's hit the post. We could have still gone in with a lead at half-time. Frustratingly, Mansfield have had 2 shots on target and scored them both. So that doesn't necessarily bode well. Their front three's been excellent. Ionvian hasn't really turned up yet, which is a little way away from excellent. But Rodney's playing well. New boy Deed is doing all right. We just need the defenders to settle, and Big Brackley to show that he's got what it takes to play in League Two after tearing up non-league for the last couple of years, having, I guess, failed in the Football League the first time around. Marsh has got him behind here, squares it to Ionvian, and he has scored his first of the season. Told you he was ready for the Football League. It's 3-2, and that was a perfect example of why having the front four is so much fun, because we had so many options further forward. That could have been aimed at Alpha Ruprecht, but instead it's Marsh who peels out to the wide areas, and Ionvian's there to tuck it away. And if he missed it, Agbenone's coming in behind him. We just overwhelm teams in situations like that. We just need to learn to defend as well. Right, Agbenone is going to try and do a long throw. Interestingly, he hasn't really added one to his locker, but there's a cross and he's good at them, and Rodney's hit the post. How many times have we hit the woodwork today? The move continues, but unfortunately does end up kind of petering out as we hit 70 minutes, and we're now able to make 5 substitutions. This is wonderful stuff. Right, Alpha Ruprecht is going to come up. Wakeling's going to come and make his debut. He can play anywhere across the front four, so he's going to be a very useful squad player for us this year. We're going to bring on new boy Senga Ngoyi, who's, along with Akpan, one of the reasons why we're looking to get rid of East, who hasn't played very well today. And we're also going to give a debut to Rio Adebisi, another one of my growing former Peterborough contingent. We've now got Ionvian, Wakeling and Adebisi, all as former Posh players in our team. And Marsh is injured, which is not ideal. Well, I think we bring on Agye and push Ionvian a bit further forward and do that. There is the option to put Agye out on the... In fact, no, we'll put him out on the left and put Wakeling up front and move Agbenone over to the right. Probably more sensible. Rodney needs to come off as well, so Akpan can come on for him. Although both of those centre mids we've got in there now kind of both want to play the playmaker role, but I'm sure between the two of them they can work out how to defend as well. I would be upset if we ended up conceding another goal from here. Looking at those match stats, I'd also be upset if Marsh is injured. With Farmer already injured, there might have been some question marks when we brought in Marsh and Wakeling. If Marsh now picks up a proper injury as well, I'm very, very glad we did it while we still had the money to. Agbenone gets in behind. Can he square it to Ionvian? He can, but I mean, less said about that, the better, I guess. Cross comes in. Their goalkeeper is forward. If we can get there, he actually won it. He won it twice. Oh my words. Chaos caused by the Mansfield goalkeeper. We couldn't get it clear, even though they had no one defending. That would have been the opportunity to put this game beyond doubt, and we just weren't able to do it. Adebisi plays it forward to Ionvian, and he slots it back to Adebisi, who goes past his man. Can he find the cross? He can. Wakeling's in the middle. Can't get proper contact with it. Deed is there, though, and he gives it to Senga and Goyi, and the move breaks down. There's still 3 minutes of time added on in this game, though, so it's not over yet, and the highlight continues, and it's Agbenone on the right. Worth pointing out as well, Agbenone been playing on the left for 2 years. His natural position is on the right. He basically defers to Alpha Ruprecht and lets him have the role. They both want to be playing on this right wing. They're natural right-footed right wingers, so Agbenone probably very much enjoying the opportunity to play out there. And we've picked up a win on our first game in the Football League, and Aidan Marsh is going to be out for a month. So very glad we signed 2 strikers when we only needed to sign 1. I'm going to go and play Cardiff off camera. Then we'll be back for Morecambe. Well, it turns out we can even score goals against championship teams. We scored 3 against Cardiff. They did score 5. We're out of the EFL Cup. But I mean, it's positive that we scored goals. We're quite good at that. We've also signed our 6'5" Scottish defender, who actually isn't rubbish. He might end up actually getting in the team because he's probably going to be quite the goal threat from corners. And you know me, boys and girls, I quite like a goal threat from corners. The only change from the first game of the season, though, is Wakeling coming in to start, and we are already running out of strikers. So that's not ideal. But Wakeling and Ionvian both scoring in midweek against championship opposition suggests they are quite capable of playing against each other, and fingers crossed can do well against a Morecambe team that are top of the league after the first day of the season. So this is going to be quite the challenge away from home against a team that presumably won 4-0 on the first day. So, I mean, we can't defend, so that's going to be nice. We are good going forward, though, and Rodney trying to demonstrate that. Even though he's supposed to be our holding midfield player, he's found charging down the right-hand side, and they've cut through the middle where Rodney should be standing, and they are knocking the ball around us really quite easily at the moment. This is where having so many men committed forward might not be ideal, especially in away games against teams that are quite good. We might be learning a lesson today, because we didn't really look like we were getting anywhere near the ball at any point during that move, which isn't ideal. But yeah, Rodney chasing shadows in midfield again. Maybe being a one-man midfield won't work for him this year, no matter how much we're paying him, although he is chasing that guy around adequately. Did win the ball though, did he? And yeah, we're not really putting them under much pressure, are we? Oh, they've floated past us. Oh, goodness me. I'm not going to change anything. I want to see how this pans out. Maybe we'll outscore them. Oh, we've got a good local derby at some point this year against Northampton. That'll be fun. We like a local derby, especially against Northampton, and especially with so many former Posh players in the team. Right, East plays it across to Alpha Ruprecht. Just shoot! And he does! And Alpha Ruprecht has scored. And this is why you just leave it and see how it pans out, because we've scored from a set piece. It's a shenanigans free kick. We love a shenanigans free kick. And we are 1-0 up. Lovely. Oh, look at the size of the deflection. Have Chester followed us up? I've just realised we just got a score alert for Chester. Chester, once again, just following us through the leagues. They are such a bogey team of mine across multiple saves. It's madness. Right, Thomas on the left. Loads of space to run into and multiple options ahead of him as well, but he decides to whip the cross in. Wakeling can't get proper contact with it, but Alpha Ruprecht tries again. Ionvian is there, he's hit the post, and then he's there for the follow-up, and that's 3 goals in 3 for Brackley Ionvian, and maybe the man to step up in the absence of Owen Farmer is going to be the man who forced him out of the team over a year ago and then forced us to change the tactic to accommodate them both. Ionvian back scoring for fun again, and it's 2-0 to Brackley. And I always had full confidence in this system and these players. I am aware we went 2-0 up in the last game as well, and ended up throwing away 2 goals. Hollingshead with a fantastic double save, I tell you what. That boy's a good goalkeeper. Deed heads it clear, trying to get it to Alpha Ruprecht. Can't quite get to him, but Alpha Ruprecht is there to collect. But what a double save from Hollingshead. That was spectacular stuff. And he maintains our 2-goal lead. And as it stands right now, we are top of the league. It's where we like to hang out. Surely, let me know in the comments what you think, but surely we can't go back to back to back. Although, obviously, we have the proviso. We do have this Tycoon backing. We'll have a look after the episode, after the match, to see how our wage spend compares to the rest of the league. We were the biggest salary spenders in the National League last year, and in the end, it showed. We were just stronger than everyone else. We had better strength in depth than everybody else. If we're in a similar situation again this year, it becomes hard to bet against us, especially with how we're starting the season, with a good showing against a championship team in the EFL Cup, a win on the first day, and then an even more impressive performance today with two of our main strikers missing, remember? And the guy I'm expecting to be my starting centre-back, DeBayo, once he's fit, not even in the squad, because he's not close to match fit, because he spent all summer just kind of sat on a beach eating Toblerones. Alpha Ruprecht floats the crossover. Ionvian's there, and he's hit the crossbar. Oh, Bradley Ionvian is playing like a man possessed. Wakeling not really doing very much, but Ionvian's been absolutely brilliant. Right, Alpha Ruprecht is tired, which is a first opportunity for you to meet Tyler Bennett, who came in on a free transfer from Manchester United in the summer. So he came off the bench in midweek. He comes on again today. And we're also going to take off Deed, and Adebisi is useful because he can cover both sides, and Ionvian is tired. So Aguier will come on in his actual preferred position. He obviously had to play on the wing when he came on in the first league game of the season, but he gets to play up front with Wakeling because of a tired Ionvian. And I want to see what Bennett can come up with, because Bennett, I have very high hopes for. And if he ends up really good, we could potentially cash in on Alpha Ruprecht and get potentially upwards of £1 million for him, which would be quite handy. Right, we're going to bring 6'5" Farrants on in midfield. And then immediately pushing back to defence, because we're actually going to bring Akpan on. So we will put Donnelly out to left back. Farrants can go back into the defence. Remember, he's 6'5". If we get a corner, keep an eye on him. The last 6'5" guy we had scored quite a few goals from corners. So I am excited about Farrants. He's not on loan for the full season, as is often the way with these Scottish loans. He's out of contract at the end of the year, so he's only in on a 10-month loan, which doesn't quite get him to the end of the season. So we don't want to rely on him, but he's going to be a useful defender to have knocking around as a squad option, and maybe a threat to bring on, especially with 7 subs, a guy to just leave on the bench and throw on with 20 minutes to go if we need a goal, because he's a goal threat from the set pieces. But it looks like we're picking up a second consecutive win to start the season, and looking at the match stats, we are absolutely good value for it. We have dominated Morecambe, and as I'm saying that, they get a 94th minute goal. I don't think they're going to get another one. Us keeping a clean sheet would be bananas, so I suspect that's just them getting their obligatory goal. But we've started with 2 wins from 2. We're looking very strong. The transfer window is not even closed yet. We're in a world of transfer windows now. So, I mean, we're not likely to bring anybody else in unless we can find more free loans, but there's always the chance someone might leave, although none of our main men are wanted by other teams currently. So that's probably a good thing. We don't really want to be selling anyone, but I said we'd check the salary. So we'll have a quick look at that. No, not transfer spend, salary per annum. So Burton spend the most by quite a long way, then Notts County, then us. So we are right up there as one of the biggest spenders on salary in the division. So on that basis, I think there's 3 automatic promotion spots and 4 in the playoffs in this league. We're not top 7. That has to go down as a failure based on how much money we're spending. So forget what the board want, forget the media expectation. We're pushing for promotion again, boys and girls. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.